Oklahoma's defense has been elite, but it hasn't quite been good enough.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, Sooner Nation? Welcome to Locked On Sooners, and thank you for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there tuning in and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase over at Game Time. He's Jay Smith of Unfair Sports. I'm John Williams of Sooners Wire and USA Today Sports, and on today's show, Steve Sarkisian spoke about Oklahoma's quarterback situation ahead of Red River. Venables provides a thought, an update, maybe not, on John Mateer for this week. But let's start with this, Jay. Several Oklahoma Sooners met with the media on Monday evening, and the message was pretty clear that, hey, you might be 5-0, but the head coach is not necessarily pleased with how everything is played out.
Yeah, Kobe McKenzie mentioned, I saw a post from Parker Thune over there at OU Insider, that BV basically was not thrilled with them in their leadership meeting. He said he ripped us about winning 44-0 and how it wasn't good enough. John, that's what we need here.
So
we need to remind them. You got to understand. Yes, you're 5-0. That's awesome. You are a top 10 team in the country. Great. You're number 1 or number 2 or at the highest number 5 in a substantial amount of defensive statistics this year. That's great. It means nothing going into this weekend. You've got to keep proving yourself over and over and over. And why? You are being doubted no matter what. We're going against the golden child. We're going up against the great Arch Manning. And everybody's going to remind us every week, this Arch Manning, man, you should be scared. You should bow. Kiss the ring. Bow to the king. So what we have to do is constantly remind this team that, sure, you had success against Bryce Underwood. Of course, he was the number 1 player and a 5-star quarterback in his class. Whatever. That's nothing compared to what you're going to see this weekend. Yeah, you beat Jackson Arnold, who was a 5-star quarterback, played at hit this school as well. Means nothing. You've got to go out there and prove it week in and week out. And I like the fact that Brent Venables reminds them, you know, I'm glad that you gave effort, but you got to do more if you want to make it to the 12th game of the season and look like you're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, you've got to continue to improve on both sides of the ball. And here's the thing that I've come away with, Jay. It's like we watch this defense, and they don't seem to care if it's Michigan or Auburn or Illinois State or Kent State or Temple that's out there on the other side of the field. They could be going up against, you know, the LSU Tigers from 2019, and they're coming with the same intensity as they are with Kent State. They're bringing the same level of intensity. I don't think we can say the same thing about the offense through 5 games. I feel like the offense has kind of waxed and waned depending on the level of competition that they faced, and that's the part that has to change. The offense has to go into every single week with the same level of intensity, the same level of physicality that the defense does. They don't need to be overlooking anybody. They don't have the luxury of overlooking anybody on the offensive side of the ball. They still have a ton to prove. And so you can say, hey, maybe they sleptwalk. They shouldn't be sleepwalking through anything. They don't have that kind of skill, that kind of talent, that kind of ability. They can't rely on the defense to do all their dirty work for them. They've got to go win football games themselves.
And that's the most important thing, is that this team is that the team is constantly doubted. And yeah, they cannot they can't let success settle in and start really, quote unquote, smelling themselves. Similar to 2023. That's kind of one of the things that BV said, that success, success was really hurting them. Kind of like Bane was saying to Batman in The Dark Knight Rises, that victory has defeated you. That's one of the big problems, is whenever victory you get to the point where you feel like you've won, peace has cost you your strength. And it's mainly because once you think you're at peace, once you think you're at that point, you're like, I don't need to work as hard. I can sit back.
Right.
That's when victory defeats you. And so BV is giving them that constant reminder. And I appreciate that. I think I appreciate more that the players are receiving it.
Mhm.
and they feel like, yeah, no, you're right. We're not looking at it as, hey man, you need to lighten up. We were winning, blah blah blah. No, it's a look at what happened in 23. We started to get too comfortable after the big win. You're going to have a bunch of big win opportunities going forward. You're going to go against some really good teams. The gauntlet is on the way, John. We have ranked team after ranked team after ranked team coming up soon. So we've got to be prepared to be able to handle the pressure that's going to come from each one of those games and at least make it through where we lose no more than 2 times. You lose no more than 2 times, you're going to the playoffs.
Yeah, and this is a week where you're playing the best team that you will have played so far this season.
Yeah.
I know Texas is coming off of a loss, but they're better than Auburn. They're better than Michigan, in my opinion.
Period.
Down the road, you're going to play better teams than Texas. You're going to play an Ole Miss and an Alabama. Those teams are better than Texas. So you can't get lax on where you're at. You cannot settle for, hey, it's been good enough so far. No, you can't. This team can't do that. The defense has been great, but there's still ways that even the defense can improve. I think we've seen it each week, right? Whether it was the Auburn game and Cam Coleman going Randy Moss on Cortland Guillory, or it was just even this past week when the Kent State defender had a 50-50 ball win over Devon Jordan. Like, the cornerback group can continue to improve. The defensive front can, the linebackers can, everybody can improve on the defensive side of the ball and keep getting better and better. And obviously the offense has to improve a lot if Oklahoma is going to get where we want them to get.
Yeah, I'm wondering what was said to the secondary. Like, I don't recall, I didn't get to see any interviews from the secondary players, John. I'm kind of curious to see what was said to them going into this game. Because I think that prepping for Texas, the secondary is probably going to be the most important because we know defensive line is going to get pressure in.
Yep.
But what was told to the secondary?
Yeah, it's time to step up. Like, you remember that Auburn game? Hopefully they went back and they watched some of that tape because
that's a good
the secondary got beat on a number of occasions, even when the completions weren't there. I was going back and I was watching some of it. And there were a number of opportunities that Jackson Arnold had to beat Oklahoma's secondary for a big play, and he just overthrew it. Or he underthrew it where the guy's running wide open down the field, or maybe not wide open, but he's got a step or two on the Oklahoma secondary. And if Arnold hits him in stride, he's gone. So the secondary, all of them, safeties, cornerbacks, have a lot of room to improve. And I think the communication will continue to get better. One of those plays was a miscommunication issue where they were trying to change the safety situation right before the snap, and they didn't quite get lined up where they needed to get. Hopefully they've ironed some of those things out. We spoke with Robert Spears Jennings at SEC Media Day, and he talked about the importance of communication and how vital that is to the defense and their success. So again, this is everybody just continuing to iron things out and strive for perfection. You're not going to be perfect, but you keep striving that way and they'll continue to get better. Again, they've got tougher competition. They're going to have to continue to strain and get better every single week.
Every single week, which is critical. You've got to, you've just got to keep this week 0-0 mentality. Your mindset needs to be, we have 0 wins. We don't have any losses, and we need to go and put a 1 in the W column to go 1-0 this week so that we can head right into Sunday with the 1-0, and then Monday back to 0-0. And I think that Brent Venables has instilled that very well with this crowd. And one other thing that Brent Venables mentioned on his coaching show, we're going to talk a little bit more on that in a minute, but he did say to buy all of the David Stone stock that you can get your hands on.
I mean, it's Apple stock at this point. Like, David Stone is Apple. You can't buy it. It's too expensive. Like, the breakout has happened. He's here. Like, David Stone has arrived, and it's not a stone. It's a boulder. Brent Venables had an update for John Mateer. Let's discuss coming up next here on Locked On Sooners.
This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Every day we make decisions, but on Prize Picks, being right can actually get you paid. Don't miss the excitement of this football season with Prize Picks, where it's good to be Right. So playing Prize Picks is fun. Simply way to add more excitement into football. What you got to do is you pick more or less on player projections, like, Josh Allen's passing yards or Saquon Barkley rushing for a touchdown, Jalen Hurts getting a tush push. You're in the game. So my favorite part is how easy and quick it is. You jump in there, you can make your lineups, and boom, under a minute, you're in the game. And from there, they've always got these things called stacks. So if I want to ride with the player, I can select their passing yards, rushing yards, and touchdowns all in one lineup. So download the Prize Picks app today and use our code LOCKEDONCollege. Get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's Locked On College for $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right.
Once again, thanks for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there. Tune in and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. So on Brent Venables' coach's show, he was asked about John Mateer, as he will be ad nauseum all week long as the Oklahoma Sooners get ready for the Texas Longhorns. And here's what he had to say. I don't know when John Mateer will be back. Really not even anything to talk about. He's on a progression through however long it takes those injuries to heal. Again, Brent Venables on his coach's show Monday night. So this is going to be a storyline, and it's probably going to be a storyline right up until the first snap of the game, Jay.
Wink.
Yeah.
Hard, dramatic wink. BV. Yeah, you're right. We have no clue when he's going to come back. We don't know how long these injuries take to heal. Like, none of that stuff is known. That's totally true. Dr. Shin just went in there, did his thing that he always does. He took care of all the goats out there. Heck, Jalen Williams was talking about it from Oklahoma City Thunder. He was talking about how, Dr. Shin is the GOAT. So yeah, we don't know. We don't know anything. But the good thing is, as you mentioned, John, he's going to get asked about this every single day. Don't worry. We're going to talk about this again on the next episode after BV does his presser, because why? The question's going to be asked there once again. There's no way of getting around it, because everybody's waiting to see if John Mateer shows up and plays this game as a la the tortilla presser told us. It would be one of the most heroic things out there. Plus, if he goes out there and shows out, that dude is right back in the front driver's seat of the Heisman conversation. Just missing one game? Yeah. He's definitely back in there, and as long as he stays healthy for the rest of the season and continues to put those numbers up that we've seen him do this season, John, there's zero reason to even think that he's not going to be in that conversation. If he can lead this team like he's been doing, come on, guys. Let's not play around. Let's not pretend like this will be a surprise.
How confident are you in the Oklahoma offense if John Mateer doesn't play?
If there's a ratings out of 10, I'm still about a 7.5.
Okay.
I think Michael Hawkins can still run this off. The difference with Michael Hawkins last year and this year is Michael Hawkins has a substantial amount of healthy people around him. Mm-hmm. The pass blocking is actually better. And for him, the thing is going to be is to not have happy feet or quote unquote PTSD from what happened last year. Just got to be calm. Understand that stay in the pocket, step up, throw the ball, that the tackles are going to rotate everybody around them, and you just step in those pockets and you just launch it and anticipate where the receiver is going to be, and you go for it. The good thing is he's got some really good wide receivers, some fast guys. He's got some good possession guys. I mean, Giovanni Gibson gave you with his first catch. He's a possession dude. He's a dude that's going to catch the ball with very strong hands. And so we'll benefit from that. So to me, it's going to be all about making sure that we just go out there and just execute on the little things. And then, of course, figure out the run game. And I think we can in this game. I think we'll figure it out. Florida struggled most of the season, and they figured out how to run in that game against Texas. I think we can do something similar. Not saying that the transit property piece there is going to be that, because Florida did it, we're going to do it. Mm-hmm. But I do think that we'll be able to have that dynamic, because on top of that, our quarterback runs a lot more than DJ Lagway does. Yeah. Lagway's been dealing with those injuries. And so you knew that he's going to be more of a statue. Hawkins is not going to be a statue. He's going to scramble and run as needed. Same thing with Mateer. So to me, we have a really good chance of being a problem with regardless of which quarterback plays.
And I think we need to see some Magic Mike. Like, if Michael Hawkins is the starter this week, we need to see some of the stuff that we saw against Auburn, some of the stuff we saw in the second half against Tennessee, where he was creating. He wasn't just running the offense. He was out there creating plays. You know what I mean? Like when the play wasn't there. We even saw it in the Navy game, right? They had him rolling to his left. It wasn't there. He rolled way back to his right, and then he found a big play down the field. So that's the kind of guy that we need to see. We need to see the improvisational confidence out of Michael Hawkins. Somebody that feels comfortable when he's uncomfortable. That's where I felt like he did a really good job last year. The 3 turnovers to start the South Carolina thing, so much of that was not on him. Okay, you could argue the one throw that he kind of just left short that was intercepted. Okay, you might be able to argue that was on him. But the other 2, I mean, he was just under an immense amount of pressure. So he doesn't need to let any of that get in his head. He just needs to go out there and play football. Like, just go play football like you're in the backyard and just play with confidence, sling it, and go. Like, don't let all of the other stuff, the noise, all of that get in your way of just going and playing football.
Yeah, that's going to be the tough part is it's blocking out everything. Because the big thing about playing at Red River is that depending on what side of the field you're on, you're going to either be in hell or you're going to be in heaven. It's one of the two, because one side is so loud. I mean, being there, even as a fan, it's crazy how intense it gets whenever when you sit on the Oklahoma side, you're being smart. I'm not going to sit on the Texas side. I wouldn't do that to myself, but it is. It's like you hear, there was a video that was posted by a Texas fan, and I thought it was fascinating. It was a video from them going in the tunnel that actually the Texas players had. And it was funny. You hear them going in there, and all you hear is the rain of boos and just boos and boos. And then all of a sudden, it starts getting loud and cheers and cheers and cheers. You're like, it's the most fascinating environment. It's the coolest and the most elite environment in college football to be a part of, because it is that split, and you can hear it. You feel the energy. Like, so many people that have gone for the first time, they're like, yeah, it definitely couldn't be what y'all say it is. And then they go in there like, oh, no. Y'all under.
Yeah.
you underserved this one. This is way more intense than expected. And so, yeah, for Michael, it's going to be just turning things out and focusing on the task at hand in front of him, which I think he can. I think he's matured after a year of being, beat up and battle tested. I think he can get us there. So I'm not concerned about if Hawkins is the quarterback. Of course, I would prefer Mateer, just because this offense, he's the one that knows the offense. And it's not saying Michael doesn't know it. It's more of a Mateer's been in for 3 years, which is completely different than what the other quarterback is doing right now.
Yeah. I mean, he's very comfortable. Hawkins is 9 months into it, 10 months into it now, learning this offense. Everybody else has to step up around him. You've got to get, like what Isaiah Satania did for Michael Hawkins last week. You need more of that from everybody else on the offense. You need the whole group to rally around Michael Hawkins Jr. if he's going to be the starter, or rally around John Mateer. You've got to get a great effort out of the entire offensive side of the ball against what's going to be a good Texas defense. They've got to play well. They can't go into this expecting the quarterback to bail them out. The offensive line's got to step up. This is the game right here. If the offensive line is ever going to turn it around and they're going to show that, hey, we're an Oklahoma Sooners offensive line, this is going to be the game. They've got to take it personally, and they've got to go blow some guys off the ball and go be physical and go try to bully Texas. Easier said than done, I'm sure, but you've got to help your quarterback out. You got to help your run game out. You got to be a difference maker in this game. Steve Sarkisian had some thoughts on the quarterback situation for the Oklahoma Sooners. We'll discuss that coming up next here on Locked On Sooners.
College football is back, and I couldn't be more excited. I heard about he's talking about the tailgates, the rivalries, Red River, baby, the energy in the stands. There's just nothing like it. But let's be real. Actually getting tickets can feel a lot more like a battle than the game itself. Endless queues, hidden fees, prices jumping at checkout. And that's why I use Game Time, the app that gives the advantage back to the fans. It's the easiest way to secure last-minute tickets at the best prices with no surprise fees. What you see is what you get. As I'm pulling up the Game Time app right now, y'all go look at these Red River tickets. I know if you thinking about going, Seems like Texas fans might be going ahead and not passing on it. And the good thing is they got zone deals too. So you can pick a section. Game Time picks the seats. You save big. So it's faster, it's cheaper, it's less stressful than any other way I've bought tickets. So take the guesswork out of buying college football tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code Locked On for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that promo code is LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go, download Game Time today.
And today's episode is also brought to you by Square. There are certain businesses that make the neighborhood the neighborhood. These are the places that become an extension of home, whether it's the sports bar dedicated to your team's fan base, the spot with the best wings in town for game day, or that beloved local chain that's been rooted in your community for years. These businesses are what bring people together. When neighborhood businesses thrive, the whole neighborhood thrives. And one of our favorite local businesses in Norman is Abbey Road Catering. She puts on, Chris Abbey and her team, they put on a great spread, whether you're needing it for a wedding or a big company event, they can put together exactly what you're looking for. They have great signature beverages, and we had a finger food spread that was just immaculate. It was fantastic. Great chicken satays and so much more. Go check out Abbey Road Catering in Norman. She is a Norman-owned business, so go check them out. Square is a proud partner of more than 4 million neighborhood businesses around the world. You can go to square.com/go/lockedoncollege to learn more. But before you do, go support your favorite neighborhood spot. You'll be happy you did. Square, see you in the neighborhood. Once again, thanks for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there. Tune in and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We're going to have a lot of extra content for you this week. Yeah. I'll be live after the Brent Venables and Ben Arbuckle press conference on Tuesday. So reacting to everything that they had to say, join us on the live show there. We'll have a show with Locked On SEC's Chris Gordy coming at you this week. We'll have Brian Smith from the Portal. Also talking to OU Texas. We'll also get some of his thoughts on Oklahoma's 2027 recruiting class, which is on fire. And then we'll also talk with Spencer McLaughlin of Locked On College Football ahead of OU Texas. And then we'll have our guy Brad Kellner of Locked On Longhorns. We'll have our crossover show for Thursday. I mean, we are going to fill this thing up in addition to all of the regularly scheduled morning shows that we have for you here on Locked On Sooners. So again, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, please go hit that subscribe button. I would really love to see us at 15,000 subscribers before OU Texas kicks off. Ooh, you have the power to make it happen. You can do it.
You can do it.
All right. So Steve Sarkisian had his press conference on Monday, and obviously he was asked about how they're going about preparing for Oklahoma's quarterback situation because it's a little bit of uncertainty right now. And here's what he had to say. We'll plan for Mateer. You have to. He's a dynamic player. He's the heartbeat of that offense for sure. Everything goes through him. Steve Sarkisian, you've studied up, my guy, because you're exactly right. Like everything so far through the 2025 season has gone through John Mateer. That's why he's averaging over 300 yards of offense a game, because he's been so good for Oklahoma.
I got to say this. Steve Sarkisian, ball knower.
Ball knower.
He's not an idiot. He understands how the dynamics go with Oklahoma and just the way that they've been playing this year. It's, the engine is John Mateer, and the reason why the engine is John Mateer is because John Mateer is the one that came with the offensive coordinator. We talked about that last segment. That's the only reason why you really want to make sure John Mateer plays this year, specifically because not only is he really good, but he knows the offense. He came with it. This is his third year in it, whereas Steve Sarkisian is doing with the exact same thing with his current quarterback, who's now this is year 3 in the system. He's a redshirt sophomore. This is year 3 in the system, and he's understanding what it is to be a quarterback for him. And so, yeah, he knows that you want to play the guy that's the most experienced. They're going to be preparing for both. And with Brent Venables saying, last segment, we talked about how he has no clue when John Mateer is coming. Texas is not dumb. Like I said, they're ball knowers. They know.
Well, and
there's a chance.
And they have the luxury of having seen Michael Hawkins Jr. before and having success. So they can afford to maybe, I don't want to say overlook Michael Hawkins Jr., but they can afford to feel confident about their preparation for him as a quarterback. Whereas John Mateer, they've never played against him. Sure, they've got there's a lot of tape out there on him, but playing against him and seeing the tape of him are two different things. So you probably want to prepare for the veteran, the guy that, again, was a Heisman Trophy front runner until he had surgery. And then apparently all the quarterback ranking gurus out there decided he no longer existed. But I mean, that's probably what I would do too, is I would prepare for John Mateer, because the offense is going to look similar. The only difference really is the speed in which these guys run and the power with which they run. Michael Hawkins Jr. isn't going to be running a lot of quarterback power. That's John Mateer's game. John Mateer is not going to be running a ton of, speed stuff to the outside. Totally different games, totally different levels of experience. So for Oklahoma, it's about making sure that you have a game plan in place for Michael Hawkins, that if he is going to have to start, that he thrives, that he is comfortable and he can thrive.
Yep. The most important thing is making sure that, like you said, Michael Hawkins is comfortable in the system and he's ready to play. And I think he will be. I think that they'll have a plan for both. I would not be surprised if both played. Let's just put it that way. That would not shock me. Do I want that? Actually, that would be fun. I wonder how annoying that would be for the opposition to have to plan like that.
I mean, maybe a little bit. I don't want them to get too cute, though. We've seen them try to get too cute in the past.
Fair.
I wish somebody could have just erased the 2022 college football season from my mind, because I don't want to look at that again. But I don't want them to get too cute. I want them really to come into this game looking to pound the rock. Whoever the quarterback is, I want you to really try to emphasize the run game, whether it's 1st and 10 or 2nd and 10. Let's get some runs. Like, I don't want to see stretches of the game where it's 3 straight passes. You know what I mean? I don't want to see every first down being a pass attempt, because that you're going to try to catch the Texas defense off guard. I want them to really make it a point of emphasis to run the football. Torrey Blaylock, he's up to the task, and he's going to get you positive yardage. Even if he's not going to break a big one, he's going to get you 3-4 yards a pop. He's consistent like that. So let's make it a point of emphasis. Let's bring Xavier Robinson back out of this thing, and let's ride him as well. Run the rock, man. Let's pound Texas and play some defensive football.
That's what's important. I would love for us to go out there and muscle them. Heck, what was it? Tyree Walker that did that in 23, right? You had a few running backs that was able to muscle their way around. I mean, Dylan Gabriel ran for like 100-something yards in that game too. So you technically could have John Mateer do that exact same game plan and probably see some success. And I think our defense is a lot stronger this year in comparison to where
definitely
they're gonna cause a lot of problems just by getting pressure or whatnot. But so I know that for Sark and them, the most important emphasis is going to be both quarterbacks can run. We've seen both quarterbacks be able to throw. We've got to make sure that we can get pressure, and that's going to be the most critical thing. Even though so far Oklahoma's passing protection has been solid, besides Kent State, but it's been solid. The question is going to be, can you go out there and just continue to get pressure on them to make them make mistakes? So for us, it's going to be, we're going to lean on our defense again. I think we're going to lean on our defense the entire season, regardless of who's the quarterback. And then we're just going to let John Mateer or Michael Hawkins do like game-winning drives.
Yeah. Manage the game, but when you have a shot, take it. Don't be afraid. Like, it's Leonidas in the 300. Come back, either with your shield or on it, no in between. We're going to go out swinging, because I don't want to see the 2022 game plan, the 2024 game plan where we were coaching scared and coaching not to lose the game. I want to see an aggressive Oklahoma Sooners offense that matches an aggressive Oklahoma Sooners defense, and they take the fight to Texas from the opening whistle to the final whistle as well. Like, do not go into this thing scared. That's the worst thing that you could do.
Do not. At all.
Please.
Go in there with the urgency that you can go dominate them, and I hope you do it.
Yeah. And that's going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Sooners. Thanks so much for tuning in, being a part of the show. Subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're free and available on every podcast platform and on YouTube. So hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to let you know when new episodes drop. Follow Jay at Unfair Sports. Go check out his channel, Unfair Sports, over on YouTube. You can follow me at John9Williams and read my work covering the Sooners over at SoonersWire.com. The show is at Locked On Sooners on all of your favorite social media platforms. But until next time, he's Jay Smith. I'm John Williams. We'll talk to you then. Boomer
Sooner.